Listen to me. I need you to understand something right now. I will not be stopped. They said I wasn't good enough. They said I wouldn't make it. They said my dreams were too big, my goals too wild, my vision too far-fetched. But guess what? I'm still here, still breathing, still grinding, still fighting, and I'm not going anywhere. Every great story of success begins with a struggle. Every champion has scars. Every trailblazer has been tested. Obstacles are not the enemy. They are the opportunity. Ooh. They are the grindstone that sharpens your soul, the fire that forges your spirit, the test that proves how bad you really want it. People run from challenges because they think pain is punishment. But those who rise understand something different. Pain is preparation. Pressure is purpose. And the obstacle is the path. When you're climbing, it's not the smooth surface that makes you stronger. It's the rough, jagged edges that force you to grip tighter, push harder, and climb smarter. It's not the clear skies that make you a better pilot. It's the turbulence, the lightning, the storms that teach you how to fly with purpose. See, strength doesn't show up when everything's going right. Strength is built when everything is going wrong, but you keep moving anyway. You keep moving anyway. When you're tired, but you show up. When you're scared, but you speak up. When you're broken, but you rise up, that pain you're feeling. It's shaping you, that failure you're facing. It's preparing you, that doubt in your mind. Pooh, in your mind is daring you to believe. Every obstacle is an invitation to grow, to stretch, to go deeper. And the truth is, nothing worthwhile ever came easy. The people who achieved greatness didn't avoid the storm. They walked into it. They didn't hope the road was easy. They became strong enough to handle the rough road. When the world says that you can't, the obstacle says approve it. When you feel like quitting, the struggle says a push through. There's something powerful about fighting for what you believe in, about refusing to back down when everything seems to be against you. Most people fold under pressure because they weren't ready for resistance. But those who rise don't see pressure as a threat. They see it as a sign they're getting close. You don't grow in comfort zones. You don't level up in safe spaces. The muscles of the mind, the resilience of the spirit are only developed when you're under tension. Think about a diamond. It doesn't become what it is without extreme pressure. Steel isn't forged in lukewarm water. It's molded in the heat. So why do you expect your dreams to be handed to you without a fight? Why do you think purpose comes without a price? The obstacle is not there to stop you. It's there to show you who you are. It's there to introduce you to the version of yourself that you haven't met yet. The one that's brave. The one that's relentless, the one that refuses to be defined by circumstances. Every time you get up after being knocked down, you become more dangerous. Every time you push through when your body says stop, you develop another layer of grit. Grit is earned, not given. Character is forged and not born. And the only way to discover how deep your strength runs is to face something that forces you to dig deeper than ever before. The mountain is tall, but you are taller. The wall is wide, but your will is wider. The obstacle is great, but your heart is greater. And every single struggle, every disappointment, every sleepless night is building something in you that comfort never could. It's putting weight on your soul, and you are getting stronger with every rep. This is where champions are made, in the shadows, in the pain, in the dark places nobody sees. When you could quit, but you keep going. When nobody's clapping, but you keep grinding. That's when greatness is born, not in the spotlight, but in the silence, in the struggle, in the fight. People will only see the success, but they'll never understand what it cost. They'll see the outcome, but they won't feel the weight you carried to get there. Obstacles aren't accidents. They're assignments. They come to build you, not break you. They come to prepare you, not punish you. You don't ask for an easier life. You train for a stronger you. So when the challenge comes, you don't run. You stand your ground. You lock in. You remember why you start, and you remind the world that pressure can't crush purpose, that setbacks can't silence destiny, that you're not backing down, not folding, not running, because the obstacle isn't in your way. Here's the way. Quitting is easy. Anybody can quit. Anybody can walk away when things get hard, when the pressure rises, when the results don't come as fast as they want. Quitting doesn't require strength. It requires surrender. It's the path of least resistance. Well, you weren't born for the easy route. You weren't made to stop halfway. You weren't designed to throw in the towel when it gets uncomfortable. If success was handed out, everyone would have it. But the reason most never make it is simple. They quit too soon. There's a war that happens every time you feel tired, discouraged, or defeated. That war is between your potential and your excuses. One voice says, you've come too far to give up now. Another whispers, just stop. No one will blame you. The voice you listen to is the one that wins. People who change the world, the ones who defy odds and rewrite their story, they are the ones who listen to the voice that said, I keep going, even when the road was long, even when the path was unclear, even when everything in them wanted to quit. You've got to understand something. Greatness isn't a moment. It's not a lucky break. It's not a shortcut. It's persistence. It's what you do when it doesn't feel worth it. It's the decision you make in silence when no one's watching, to keep pushing forward when everything inside you says, I'll stop. That's where champions are made. Not in the celebration, but in the choice not to quit. Not once, not ever. Success isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like showing up to practice when nobody else does. It looks like staying late, waking up early, missing out, sacrificing now for what you said you wanted later. And in those moments when the weight feels unbearable, when your progress feels invisible, when your energy is drained and your doubts are screaming louder than your dreams, you don't stop. You don't retreat. You remind yourself why you started. You tell yourself that your commitment is stronger than your circumstances. You say it with your chest, I will not quit. The ones who make it aren't the most talented. They're not the luckiest. They're not the most connected. They're not the most connected. They are the ones who stayed in the fight. They refused to quit when the applause stopped. They kept working when the doors closed. They believed in the vision long before anyone else did. And that belief, that unshakable, immovable belief, is what gave them the strength to keep going when everything told them to stop. When your back is against the wall, quitting might look like relief. It might seem like the logical choice. What you don't see is what's on the other side of pushing through. What you don't realize is how close you are. Every person who's ever done something extraordinary will tell you there was a moment they wanted to quit, a moment they thought it was over, but they didn't. That made all the difference. Your mind will play tricks on you. It will tell you that your effort is wasted, that no one sees you, that it's not working. But progress doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it's slow. Silence is slow, silent, and invisible to the outside world. It's happening. Every day you choose not to quit, you're moving forward. Every time you show up despite how you feel, you're winning the inner war. That's the real grind, the one behind the scenes, where discipline drowns out doubt. You have to learn to push past the point where most people give up. That's where the reward is. That's where the transformation happens. Most people stop when it gets uncomfortable, but you keep going. You train your mind to ignore the urge to quit and focus on the reason you started. Oh, you hold the vision so tight that even when your reality doesn't match it, you don't flinch. You don't fold. You keep walking in faith because you know quitting is permanent, but pain is temporary. There will be days when it feels pointless. There will be moments when the finish line seems a million miles away, but that's the exact moment when you dig deeper. That's when you double down on your discipline. The world respects the one who stays consistent when the emotions fade. It honors the fighter who refuses to quit, no matter how long the battle drags on. You have to decide in advance that no matter what comes your way, quitting is not an option, that your dreams are not negotiable, that your effort won't end in surrender. You don't get to where you want to be by waiting. You get there by enduring, by outlasting, by showing up again and again until the breakthrough comes. It doesn't matter how slow you move, as long as you don't stop. It doesn't matter how many times you fall, as long as you rise one more time. This is not about how you feel. It's about what you've committed to. Your feelings might lie, but your actions speak truth. And the truth is, every time you choose to keep going, you become unstoppable. Pain is a language most people try to avoid. It's uncomfortable, it's raw, it's heavy. But what they don't realize is that pain isn't there to break you, it's there to build you. Pain is a messenger, a teacher, a sculptor shaping you into the person you were always meant to become. When everything is smooth, you don't grow, you coast. But when pain shows up, it brings clarity. It strips away the distractions, the excuses, the comfort. It forces you to face yourself, to ask hard questions, to dig into your core and find out what you're really made of. There's a kind of power that only pain can activate. It's the power that shows up when you're exhausted but refuse to quit. It's the strength you find when your heart is broken, but you keep showing up. It's the fire that burns in your soul when the world tells you it's over and you say, I'm not yet. Pain forces you to go deeper, to reach places in your character you never knew existed. It peels back the layers and reveals the fighter inside you. Most people run from pain. They treat it like a curse, but champions lean into it. They listen to what it's saying. Because pain always speaks loudly, clearly, and truthfully. It tells you what needs to change. It exposes your limits so you can expand them. It reveals your fears so you can conquer them. Pain doesn't come to stay. It comes to teach. It's not trying to destroy you. It's trying to develop you. The moment you learn to stop fearing pain and start using it, everything changes. When pain pushes you, you don't collapse. You climb. You don't let it drown you. You let it drive you. You use the sting of failure to refine your focus. You let the discomfort fuel your discipline. You take the broken pieces and build something stronger than before. You realize that your next level will demand more from you than your last one did. And pain is just the training partner making sure you're ready for that level. You're gonna face rejection. You're gonna face betrayal. You're gonna face moments where nothing makes sense and everything hurts and everything hurts. But that's where your breakthrough is born. In the pain, in the pressure, in the chaos. You don't grow when things are perfect. You grow when everything is falling apart and you choose to rise anyway. That choice, that fight, that refusal to let pain define you is what builds greatness. Pain can make you bitter or it can make you better. The difference is in how you respond. If you avoid it, deny it, numb it, you stay the same. But if you embrace it, learn from it, and push through it, you evolve. You unlock a version of yourself that you never knew existed. A version that doesn't fold under pressure. A version that turns wounds into wisdom and scars into strength. The truth is, if you look at anyone who's achieved something extraordinary, there's pain behind it. There are late nights filled with doubt. There are mornings where getting out of bed felt like a war. There are moments where walking away felt easier than holding on. But they didn't run. They didn't escape. They endured. And that's why they made it. Not because life was easy, but because they learned to let pain push them forward instead of holding them back. You don't get to skip the pain if you want the purpose. You don't get to avoid the suffering if you want the strength. Pain is the price. It's the toll you pay on the road to greatness. And once you understand that, you stop complaining about the process and start respecting it. You stop saying, why me? And start saying, why me? And stop seeing pain as the enemy, and start seeing pain as the enemy, and start seeing it as your greatest motivator. There's something inside of you that pain is trying to reach. A level of focus, a depth of discipline, a fiber commitment. Pain is pulling that out of you. It's not a punishment, it's a pathway. It's pulling back the curtain on your real capacity. Because let's be real, you don't know how strong you are until you have no choice but to be strong. You don't know how far you can go until it hurts to keep going, but you keep going anyway. Some of the most powerful breakthroughs in life come right after the deepest pain. Because pain cleanses your vision. It wakes you up. It makes you take ownership of your future. When pain pushes you, it's giving you a chance to rewrite your story. It's challenging you to grow bigger than your wound. It's daring you to become the kind of person who doesn't just survive hard seasons, but thrives through them. It's whispering that your pain has a purpose if you're willing to pay attention. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is hidden in the hours when nobody's watching. It's hidden in the moments when others are resting, when others are relaxing, when others are making excuses. Because success doesn't come to those who wait for motivation. It comes to those who show up even when motivation is nowhere to be found. Most people want the reward, but they're not willing to pay the price. They want the success, but not the sacrifice. They want the outcome, but not the effort. The truth is, greatness demands more than talent, more than desire, more than potential. It demands consistency. It demands doing the work even when you don't feel like it. It demands choosing discipline over distraction, purpose over pleasure, progress over procrastination. That's the real work, and it's done when nobody is clapping, when nobody is looking, when no one is cheering you on. You can't just work when it's convenient. You have to work when it's uncomfortable, when it's hard, when it hurts. You have to learn to keep grinding while everyone else is sleeping, while everyone else is coasting, while everyone else is waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment doesn't exist. You create it by moving. You create it by working. You create it by putting in the hours day after day when your body is tired and your mind is screaming for rest. There are people out there more talented than you, people with better connections, people who started ahead of you. But if they take breaks while you take action, if they sleep while you study, if they talk while you train, eventually you will pass them. Eventually your consistency will crush their potential. Because in this world, it's not always the most gifted that win. It's the most committed. The ones who refuse to take shortcuts. The ones who outwork the competition. The ones who know that while others dream about it, they are building it. Working when others rest is about building a mindset. It's about creating a lifestyle that isn't driven by feelings, but by goals. You don't ask, do I feel like it? You say, it needs to be done. That's the difference between those who dabble and those who dominate. Your dreams are not waiting for your convenience. They're waiting for your commitment. Ooh. And commitment means you keep going even when it's boring, even when it's lonely, even when it seems like nothing is happening. There will be times when you question yourself. Times when it feels like all your effort is invisible, but that's when you double down. That's when you remind yourself that seeds don't grow overnight. That progress doesn't always shout. Our success doesn't always show its face right away. While others are looking for quick wins, you're building something that lasts. You're stacking habits, you're sharpening skills, you're developing discipline. And when the time comes, the results will speak louder than anything else. The grind doesn't come with guarantees. Just because you work harder doesn't mean you win immediately, but not working guarantees you won't. Effort doesn't always lead to instant results, but it always leads to growth. Every drop of sweat, every early morning, every late night is doing something inside of you. It's forging your identity. It's building your confidence. It's proving to yourself that you are someone who keeps showing up no matter what. While they're watching TV, you're watching film. While they're scrolling, you're studying. While they're sleeping in, you're putting in reps. And that edge adds up. One day, it becomes undeniable. One day, it becomes the difference between almost and yeah, but achieve. Between a someday and at a day. That's why you keep working while they rest. Because you're not aiming to be average. You're not trying to blend in. You're not built to be mediocre. You're working for something bigger than comfort. You're working for your future. There's no traffic on the extra mile. That's where the relentless live. That's where the committed compete. That's where you separate yourself from the crowd. People love to talk about what they're going to do. They love to dream, to plan, to hope, but very few are willing to show up daily when the emotion wears off. Very few are willing to sweat in silence, to struggle in private, to grind without applause. But those are the ones who win in the long run. Not because they were better, but because they worked when others rested. Oh, you don't need to announce your effort. You don't need to prove anything to anyone else. Let your results do the talking. Let your consistency do the convincing. While others make noise, you make moves. While others chase moments, you chase mastery. And in the end, it's not about who had the most followers, the most attention, the most hype. It's about who outlasted, who outworked, who outhustled. The grind is lonely, but it's also sacred. It's where legacies are built and greatness is earned. Every setback, every failure, every heartbreak is not the end. It's the beginning of your transformation. Most people think adversity is a sign to stop, to turn back, to give up. But what they don't see is that adversity is actually the gatekeeper to greatness. It stands in front of every breakthrough. It tests your will, your mindset, your heart. It doesn't ask if you're talented. It asks if you're tough. It doesn't care about your intentions. It checks your resilience. It's not there to break you. It's there to reveal you, to reveal the real you. The one who refuses to fold under pressure. The one who stands tall when the storm hits. The one who doesn't just survive adversity, but uses it as a launch pad to rise higher. People want success without struggle. They want the crown without the cross. But life doesn't work that way. Life doesn't hand out trophies for free. If you want to be more, you have to go through more. And going through adversity means you're in the process of becoming. It means you're being refined, stretched, tested. That pain you're feeling, that resistance, that's pressure turning coal into a diamond. That's the fire that forges strength. And if you quit in the middle of it, you forfeit the growth. You miss out on the upgrade that only adversity can give. And the champions you admire, the ones who've made it to the top, they didn't get there without adversity. They didn't glide through life untouched by hardship. No, they got knocked down. They got rejected. They failed, sometimes publicly and painfully, but they kept going. They understood that adversity isn't a wall, it's a door. And if you can find the courage to walk through it, you come out on the other side stronger, smarter, sharper. That's the secret. Not avoiding the adversity, but embracing it, using it, letting it shape you, not stop you. Adversity has a way of stripping away the unnecessary. It cuts through comfort. It clears the distractions. It forces you to focus. When you're up against the wall, when there's nowhere to hide, that's when you learn what you're truly capable of. That's when your instincts kick in. That's when you fight, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Adversity puts you in situations where you have to level up. You have no choice. Either you fold or you forge forward. Either you sink or you rise. And here's the truth. How you respond to adversity reveals your character. It shows the world what you believe about yourself. If you cave, it means you weren't committed. But if you rise, if you face it head on, if you keep going despite the pain, that tells the story of someone who is unshakable. Someone who doesn't need things to be easy to keep moving. Someone who has already decided that no matter what happens, they're going to finish the race. That kind of decision, that kind of mindset is what separates the average from the elite. You don't have to like adversity. You have to retrain your thoughts to say, this is happening for me, not to me, because adversity will visit everyone. It's not personal, it's universal. But what you do with it, how you respond, how you grow from it, that's what will define you. That's what will make you strong enough to carry the weight of your dreams. That's what will prepare you to handle the responsibility of success. There's a certain kind of hunger that can't be taught. It doesn't come from books. It doesn't come from books. It doesn't come from inspiration videos or motivational speeches. It comes from within. It comes from a place deep inside where you've made a decision that you are not going to settle. That no matter what happens, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many doors close, you are going to keep chasing your dream with everything you got. That kind of hunger is what separates those who try from those who achieve. It's the driving force behind every breakthrough, every comeback, every victory. It's the fuel that keeps you running long after others have stopped. When you're truly hungry, you don't need someone to push you. You push yourself. You don't wait for opportunities to come to you. You go and create them. You don't let failure define you. You let it refine you. You study harder, train longer, sacrifice more because you see the vision and you refuse to live one more day without giving everything you've got to make it real. That's what hunger does. It sharpens your focus. It makes your goals non-negotiable. It eliminates excuses. It gives you tunnel vision for the life you know you're meant to live. People who aren't hungry will never understand why you wake up early, stay up late, keep pushing when it's painful, and keep working when no one is watching. They'll call you obsessed. They'll say you're doing too much. But what they don't understand is you're not chasing average. You're not interested in being just another person with potential. You're chasing purpose. You're chasing a version of yourself you haven't met yet. And that version is only born through relentless, obsessive focus work. That version is born when you stay hungry long after the initial excitement fades. Hunger doesn't disappear just because you hit a milestone. If it's real, it grows. It expands. It doesn't say, I made it. It says, what's next? It doesn't get comfortable. It stays committed. Because when you're hungry, you're not just working for a paycheck, for applause, or for attention. You're working for a legacy. You're working to change lives. You're working to leave something behind that proves you didn't just exist. You made a difference. And when you're hungry, you're not afraid to start small. You're not afraid of the grind. You're not looking for shortcuts. You're ready to put in the work because you know greatness is not microwave. It's marinated. It takes time. It takes consistency. It takes patience. It takes patience. But above all, it takes hunger. Hunger is what keeps you disciplined when distractions come. Hunger is what pulls you out of bed when you feel like staying down. Hunger is what turns pain into purpose and obstacles into stepping stones. You see, most people are full of doubt, full of excuses, man, full of fear. When you're full, you don't fight, you don't chase, you don't strive. But when you're hungry, you're willing to risk, to struggle, to sacrifice. You stop asking for permission. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop depending on external motivation. Because something inside of you is louder than your circumstances. Something inside of you is burning with so much purpose that you simply cannot settle for less. And that hunger, it shows in your work ethic. It shows in how you handle adversity. It shows in how you carry yourself when things get tough. It's not about shouting louder. It's about grinding harder. It's not about being seen. It's about being unstoppable. Hunger is quiet, but it's fierce. It's not always visible, but it's always working. It's in your choices, your habits, your actions, and every time you choose discipline over distraction, every time you keep going when quitting would be easier, you feed that hunger. You strengthen it. The truth is, hunger is the difference maker. Two people can have the same skills, the same opportunity, the same resources, but the one who's hungrier will win every time. Because when talent sleeps, hunger trains. When others retreat, hunger advances. When the journey gets dark, hunger finds light. Hunger is what keeps your dream alive when everything else seems dead. Hunger is what whispers to keep going when your body says stop and your mind says no more. And don't get it twisted. Being hungry isn't about desperation. It's about direction. It's about knowing where you're headed and refusing to be derailed by distractions, doubt, or defeat. It's about being laser focused on your mission and committed to your vision no matter what comes your way. It's about embracing the discomfort, the pain, the pressure, because you know what's waiting on the other side is worth it. And if you want to be great, you can't just be interested. You've got to be hungry. Hungry enough to do the hard things. Hungry enough to face the fear. Hungry enough to stay the course when the results are slow, the critics are loud, and the temptation to quit is real. There's a fire that lives in the heart of the hungry. It doesn't need permission to burn. It doesn't need validation to keep going. It doesn't fade when times get tough. It flares up. It burns brighter, and that fire, that hunger, that's your power. That's your edge. That's what will take you from dreaming to doing, from hoping to having, from where you are meant to be.